Well, radio glory aside, the rest of the pickings for South Africa have been slim, to say the least. Janet Kinghorn is the Executive Creative Director at the agency The Brand Union. She was on the jury for the Press and Design category. Needless to say, she wasn't blown away or bowled over.
The stuff that really stands out is stuff that's well designed and has a good idea, and you can instantly get that across. So, you know, when it's simple and it just kind of works, it does stand out.
So the general idea here is that simplicity still wins. We don't often see simplicity in design. Why is that?
Because people try to over-embellish and try to make mountains out of molehills. And I think that, I mean, you'll see with the work that's won gold, is that it just works. And I think, yeah, it's the simplicity of the idea and how the execution and the idea come together as one.
Is it important when you're looking at this work that it's got to speak a global language?
Sure. I think the simplicity and the design does that. There was work from Japan, from India, from South Africa, from everywhere, and I think that when good design works, it is global. It does speak to a bigger audience.
Let's talk about South Africa if we can. I went through the list of winners, and then I looked again, and then I looked for a third time. Where was South Africa?
I was really disappointed. I think that there weren't a lot of pieces entered, and I think the work that was entered probably didn't quite make that mark. I think also some of it fell through the shortlist, unfortunately. I think that there's a huge opportunity for South African designers to get involved and actually show what we're made of, because there's a lot of great work out there. It's just not being reflected here. And I think there's a perception that Cannes is about advertising, but hopefully we've kind of shown that design is an important factor and becoming more so in this particular context.
How relevant is design now, given that so much advertising these days is driven by technology?
I think what we're seeing now, what was a definite trend, was a kind of collaboration. And I think what's working in terms of design is that it becomes the glue that kind of holds everything together, becomes the tonal kind of base from which everything can kind of work from. And so Cosmopolitan, for example, was a great version of that.
That was the Grand Prix winner, wasn't it? Talk us through that.
It was, for the context of Las Vegas, it was such a beautiful piece. It was understated and sumptuous and beautifully executed. And I think what I enjoyed about it was that the technology didn't overpower the actual execution. It just, everything fitted together so beautifully.
And as a designer yourself, sometimes to get that confluence of thinking between the different disciplines is quite a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think effectively we're becoming curators or kind of producers, where we're kind of managing that process from a visual perspective and sometimes from an ideas and a strategic perspective. So I think our role is changing, and it's exciting, because we're not just the pretty people anymore. We're kind of getting into the meat of it.
Simple question. Where's all of this going to?
I think it is in the collaboration, and I think that it's important for us to work with advertising agencies, to work with other channels and other industries to actually kind of bring the stuff to life, because the brand doesn't sit in isolation anymore. And design is not just about the logo, it's about how all of those pieces fit together. And so the pieces that really stood out for us were pieces that did that. One of the big winners